I think one of the things that's really, really missing, and I don't know if you agree with PMP training or learning in general, is like a personal like connection or, you know, engagement with the instructors and stuff like that. Like that's one thing, like you're talking about, like if you're just a number in one of these systems and you go and you watch a video and whatever, and there's no like back and forth, I think that's a giant, like you just kind of like fall flat a little bit. I do personally.
And that's honestly, that happened on my first attempt.
So we'll start it. Well, I'll start it again. If you agree with it, we'll start it right now. I'll start it and then we'll go into it. Yeah. So Chris, let's talk a little bit about kind of like a missing little aspect to like helping us improve or helping students improve. We talked about like a big part of our program is the feedback, the engagement, the constant kind of back and forth we have with students. And I just want to get a student's perspective on going through it. Like as far as training and PMP goes, what role do you see as like that playing into it in your mind?
Well, I think it's huge because, you know, my first attempt at this was back in 2013. Mm-hmm. And it was the course that I took was just watch this video and answer a quiz at the end. And if you passed, then you moved on to the next one. There was no, like, I don't understand. I fundamentally don't understand this. I know the answer, but I don't understand why the answer is the answer. Mm-hmm. You know, the Tuesday night calls, the Wednesday night calls, where I could actually bring to either you or my coach and say, I don't understand this. And with not only them, but with the group, that we could talk that through and arrive at the understanding of why PMI thinks this is the answer, was huge in being into their mind and being able to, you know, when I go into the exam, that it's not just, this is the answer, I know the answer.
Right. The first time that you did the class with somebody else and you had kind of like a sterile experience and whatever, or the exam, or, you know, whatever you call it, the class, what were you, like, what was the difference in, like, did you feel differently like doing that, or was your confidence different than the first time versus the second time when you were more supported? Talk me through kind of how you felt.
I mean, I was just, the first time it was kind of like, here are these videos, go figure it out yourself. Mm-hmm. Versus this time where, you know, you and Mike were there to actually support me. And if I had questions, you know, I could reach out to you and ask a question, or, you know,
yeah,
ask for clarification, ask for some time if I needed it.
Yeah. That's right. And like, so I assume that like scrunched up or made your study time reduced, right? Because you weren't like, talk me through that if you don't mind.
Well, you know, honestly, the company that I work for right now is going to send me to the exact same company that I had been to before for this training. And honestly, my expectations were very low. So I had been working, that course was supposed to occur like in August. Mm-hmm. And given that my expectations were kind of low, I started working with a tutor. Mm-hmm. Now, had I found you first, or you know, been able to convince them early on, you know, to go with you, a tutor wouldn't have been necessary. But yeah, you know, I kind of came into this maybe a little bit over prepared, ready.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's good. And so like, as you started preparing, from people outside, when they're working with coaches and stuff, how do you think that one can get the most out of working with the coaches and the way we do it and those things? Like, what is it from the student's perspective? How do they have to approach things so that they can get the most out of it, like in the Mike sessions or my sessions?
You know, participation is key. I mean, if you're not willing to, I mean, if you're just in there and you're listening to everyone and just putting in your answer and such, that if you're not willing to get out there and say, you know, I firmly believe that the answer is, say, C, and everybody else is saying it's A.
Yeah.
And be able to come up with a cogent argument as to why that's the case. You know, I think participation is the key.
Yeah, yeah, just getting involved. Now, how did you do on the actual exam? Like, just skate by? Did you go really good? What was the score?
Honestly, I was very surprised and maybe a little bit proud of this, that I dominated all categories.
Oh, nice.
you, in college I was a solid B student,
All right.
and so I kind of expected that I was going to have some areas that I was better at than others, and so on and so forth. But when I got my results back, and they said they had all blue in that pie chart, all dark blue in that pie chart, I was like, wow.
That's awesome. So, I mean, you did really well. You did a lot of preparation with us. I saw you put the work in, which is great. And you were always there, getting into it and like making stands mentally. Like, I think it's this, let me learn from it. What do you think made a difference in getting you up to that, 5 above targets, that perfect score in a way?
Definitely the simulation.
Okay.
Your simulator was extremely close to what the actual exam was like.
Okay.
I've heard others talk about how the questions on the exam were wordy,
Mm-hmm.
would give you a bunch of stuff and kind of to try and throw you off the track and such, and the simple 2 or 3 sentence questions that you have in your exam,
Mm-hmm.
your simulator, were exactly like what I had on the exam.
That's awesome.
In my case.
Yeah, I mean, there could be variation in that, but it worked for you, so that's good. So talk us through a little bit about, you've had some experience. You did the previous boot camps, you did some other stuff. What was the actual like learning experience like in the accelerator for you? Like, just talk us through kind of how you approached it and what you thought about it.
Well, I didn't do the accelerator from the start. I did. I took the typical engineer. I started at the top and worked my way down.
Right.
So I went through the regular course, and I have work. I had work going on and other stuff like that. So I wasn't able to devote the time of get this done in 7 days.
Yeah.
But I did come back to the accelerator, and as I got down to the end of the course, and I did look at the videos or some of the videos and such,
Mm-hmm.
and I kind of wish that I had maybe started there and kind of did a blended course.
Yeah. Yeah.
Accelerator and the regular course, but
That's cool.
might have gotten me through it a little bit quicker.
That's all right. That's all right. So now that you've gotten the PMP, like, what was your original motivation for getting it?
My job.
Okay.
The company I work for works with a local utility, apparently, and they are heavily invested in the PM program.
Okay.
And so I've heard from others or from people that actually work for them that, that in some cases they give you a year to get your PMP, or
Okay.
maybe you have to leave or whatever.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So consequently, our company wants to have that, or because our client values that certification, we value that certification.
Right.
And, so it was kind of a requirement in my job.
That's cool. That's cool. And so now that you got it, you can satisfy that. You're done with it. Do you now look at your project work any differently with any other new focus now that you've completed this and kind of gone deep and done so well?
Not really.
Okay.
So much of what my past experience has been has really kind of been along the lines of project management, of the PMI approach to the project management.
That's cool.
So in certain respects, I knew this going in. It was, I knew the process going in. It was just kind of formalizing it, like with the PMBOK and the process that lays out.
That's cool. And so like people out there are like you know, like engineers, they're experienced, they know what they're doing, they got to get it. If they're in that situation like you, what do you think the best approach or the best method now that you've been through it is for those people? I know everybody's different, but what would be your recommendations for those people?
Well, I really like your approach in that, you know, the other educators out there use that what table 4.1
Yeah.
in the PMBOK, and they do it by process
Knowledge areas. Yeah.
group,
Yeah.
and that is not how you do a project.
Right.
You do a project as you found out, or as you designed your course.
Yeah.
Working through initiating and then going through planning, so on and so forth.
Right.
And honestly, that made, I don't know if that like had a click moment for me, but that was, it did make a lot more sense doing it that way than the way the PMBOK is laid out, or the way others are approach teaching you the methodology.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think changing the way you look at it and looking at it that way just kind of like simplifies things, and it actually makes it relatively practical so that you can make relationships between it and build from there. So yeah, I think that's awesome. Well, what was exam day like? I mean, obviously you did well. Were you nervous? Did you, how did you approach it? Like, what were the learnings from that?
I was nervous. I'd been down this road before and didn't want to have to be coming down it again.
Yeah.
The PMI with the testing at home, it's a little bit difficult to create the environment that they want in order to for you to take the exam. They want a fairly sterile environment. So I ended up doing that in a room at work.
Okay.
That way I was able to control it and give the proctor every assurance that I was not cheating or anything.
Very true. That's good.
Actually, there was a point in the exam where I'm trying to write out numbers and such in the whiteboard, because I don't do touch type all that well on numbers and symbols and such.
Right.
The proctor stopped me and said, "What are you looking at?" Swivel the camera down and show him that there was nothing on the desk.
Right. Well, that's cool. I mean, that's interesting that at least they're watching, so that's cool.
Oh yeah,
that's cool, and no issues. Yeah.
And I didn't have any trouble with. I didn't have any technology problems. There was a little bit at the start, but nothing that Mike, my coach, talked about, where his exam just froze up.
Yeah, that's rough. It happens more than we would like to admit. Yeah, it's unfortunate. Yeah. So, but that's good. I mean, you did well. You did extremely well, and now you can go back to the regular job. What are you going to do with all your free time now?
Build models.
Okay, what kind of models?
I build plastic models.
Okay, of just anything, not like cars, planes, boats, like ships.
Planes and spacecraft.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I'm trying to get into home machining.
Wow.
So
that's pretty awesome. Well, you got plenty of time now.
I have my toys to distract my time or distract me.
I hear you. That's good, especially now when we can never leave the house. So that's good. Well, Chris, I really, really appreciate you sharing, and you did so amazing. We're proud of you, and you probably taught us a lot. So I appreciate it, man. Thanks a lot.
No problem. Thank you.